case meets a misunderstood mental health condition? That is the question now facing a jury in Plymouth. At the center of this trial is Lindsay Clancy, a former labor and delivery nurse whose life forever changed on January 24th, 2023. The lives of her three young children, Cora, Dawson, and Callan, were lost in a tragedy that has left a nation grieving. The facts of what occurred are not in dispute. However, the legal battle centers on one crucial question: criminal responsibility. Prosecutors allege that Clancy acted with intent, arguing that the events of that evening were a calculated choice. Her husband, Patrick, was sent out to pick up takeout and medication, unaware of the horror that would unfold in his absence. Her attorneys offer a different perspective, emphasizing the severe mental health battle she was fighting behind closed doors. The defense points to postpartum psychosis, a condition that they argue rendered her incapable of understanding right from wrong. She had been prescribed numerous psychiatric medications, an element the defense argues is key to understanding her state. The trial will feature a long list of experts, investigators, and even Patrick Clancy himself, who is expected to testify. In a delicate decision, the judge has restricted the release of 911 calls and autopsy photos to protect the family's privacy. This case has sparked a nationwide conversation, forcing us to rethink how we treat postpartum mental illness. Medical experts emphasize that postpartum depression and postpartum psychosis are drastically different conditions. Unlike depression, postpartum psychosis is rare and involves profound hallucinations and a loss of reality. Whether Lindsay Clancy experienced this break from reality is the definitive question the jury must decide. The impact of this trial will resonate far beyond the courtroom walls, affecting policy and public understanding. It forces us to ask, how should our justice system evaluate those suffering from severe psychiatric disorders? As of today, the trial continues, and no verdict has yet been reached in this painful case. We will continue to follow the proceedings as new testimony and critical evidence become available to the public. What are your thoughts on this case? Should the outcome rely solely on medical evidence, or do other factors matter? Please share your perspective respectfully in the comments below as we navigate these complex issues together. If you value fact-based true crime coverage, subscribe to Case Files Uncovered to stay informed on this and other cases. Turn on notifications so you don't miss our upcoming updates on this trial as developments unfold. This is a case of profound sadness, reminding us all of the vulnerability inherent in maternal health. The defense is building their case, piece by piece, against the weight of the state's prosecution. Psychiatrists will be called to the stand to testify about the nature of postpartum psychosis and its impact on behavior. The court will hear from Patrick Clancy, a man whose life is forever defined by his loss. The jury must weigh the evidence with care, separating intention from the darkness of a mental health emergency. For many, this case highlights a system that fails to adequately address the risks of severe postpartum illness. Was she aware of the wrongfulness of her actions? That is the heart of the legal argument. The outcome of this case could set a precedent for how the law handles criminal responsibility in mental health trials. Beyond the courtroom arguments, this case is about the loss of 3 lives and the life of a mother. The eyes of the nation are fixed on Plymouth, waiting for a verdict that may redefine public opinion. The defense argues that her mental health decline coincided with a complex regimen of psychiatric medications. Prosecutors highlight the moments of lucidity prior to the event, questioning the insanity defense. The defense pleads for the jury to see beyond the surface, to understand the unseen illness within. From social media to news headlines, everyone has an opinion on how justice should be served. The judge holds the line between public interest and personal privacy, carefully managing every piece of evidence. Every piece of evidence introduced in court adds weight to a decision that will change history. Lawyers from both sides remain professional, yet the atmosphere is thick with the tragedy of the event. Families are left to navigate the aftermath of a loss that most can barely comprehend. Are our hospitals and doctors doing enough to spot the signs before it's too late? This trial forces awareness of the critical nature of postpartum health and the lack of proper support systems. The distinction between mental illness and criminal responsibility is a legal mountain to climb. As both sides prepare their final arguments, the gravity of the decision weighs heavily on everyone involved. Soon, the jury will be sequestered to deliberate, leaving their own lives behind to decide another's. The nation waits for a verdict that won't undo the tragedy, but will decide the legal future of a mother. Beyond law, this is about compassion and whether our system can handle the complexities of the human mind. The experts will present findings that challenge our conventional understanding of criminal behavior. Each day in court brings new testimony that reshapes the narrative of the case. The story continues to unfold, revealing the complexities of a mother's struggle. True justice must account for the context of every action, especially when mental health is involved. Thank you for joining us in examining the complexities of the Clancy case as we await further developments. Subscribe for updates on this trial and other important cases in our ongoing series. The journey for truth is rarely easy, but it remains essential for a fair trial. We remain committed to delivering the facts as they surface in this heartbreaking case. Join us next time as we continue our coverage on Case Files Uncovered.